Winston Churchill wasn't just Britain's wartime prime minister, he was its voice. At a time when Nazi Germany seemed invincible and the British Empire stood isolated, Churchill's speeches offered more than reassurance. They were a rallying cry, a shield, and a sword. His words transformed despair into determination and turned fear into defiance. Through the radio and in Parliament, Churchill gave voice to the courage of millions and became a symbol of Britain's unbreakable will. The power of words in wartime. Churchill's speeches weren't written for history, they were written to save a nation. He understood the psychological power of language and used it to forge national unity, steel public resolve, and send a clear message to the enemy: Britain would never yield. Broadcasts were his battlefield. With the radio reaching every home, his voice became a daily presence. His rhetorical skill, rich in historical allusion, vivid imagery, and bold phrasing, helped guide the British people through the worst crisis in their modern history. Blood, toil, tears, and sweat. May 13, 1940. Churchill's first speech as Prime Minister set the tone for the war. He didn't promise easy victory or glory. Instead, he warned of sacrifice. "I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat." This blunt, honest message was shocking, but also bracing. It united Parliament and the public behind a government that had just replaced Neville Chamberlain. Churchill made it clear, this was a war for survival and it would require everything Britain had. "We shall fight on the beaches," June 4, 1940. Following the miraculous evacuation of 338,000 Allied troops from Dunkirk, Churchill addressed the House of Commons in one of his most famous speeches. He praised the troops' bravery but refused to pretend the war was won. "We shall go on to the end, we shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall never surrender." This defiant repetition built to a crescendo that echoed far beyond the chamber's walls. At a time when many feared invasion, Churchill's speech reassured Britons that their government would resist to the last man. Their finest hour, June 18, 1940. With France defeated and Britain standing alone, Churchill reminded the nation, and the world, that the outcome of the war still hung in the balance. "Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duties and so bear ourselves, that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour." This powerful conclusion turned isolation into inspiration, making Britons feel they were living through a moment that would echo in eternity. Never was so much owed by so many to so few. August 20, 1940. As the Battle of Britain raged in the skies, Churchill paid tribute to the Royal Air Force pilots who defended the country against overwhelming odds. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. This line immortalized the RAF and helped solidify national support for the ongoing air campaign. It also boosted morale among civilians who faced nightly bombings during the Blitz. Legacy, the voice that endured. Churchill's speeches weren't always optimistic, but they were always resolute. He admitted danger but rejected despair. His rhetorical style, rich in cadence, alliteration, and moral clarity, gave the war a narrative that people could believe in. Even after the war, his speeches continued to resonate. His 1946 Iron Curtain speech in Fulton, Missouri, warned of the growing Soviet threat and helped define the early Cold War. Winston Churchill's speeches were more than historical moments, they were weapons of war. He used words to hold a country together, to rally allies, and to confront evil. His speeches helped Britain survive its darkest hour, and ensured that freedom, not fascism, would prevail.